Hi there, I'm Christine Dunbar from speechmodification.com, and this is my Smart American Accent training. In this video, we're going to take a look at vowel monophthongs and diphthongs, and we're going to talk about how these function in English just as basic sounds, but then also how different dialects of US and British English change quite a bit in how we pronounce these vowel sounds. So even though we have standard sounds in English, you'll hear a lot of different change and variety. Fortunately for most people, the difference between the different dialects and accents, except for very pronounced ones, is not noticeable, and it won't matter too much exactly how you're using these sounds that I'm going to be pointing out in detail. So the most important thing is that you're getting the basic monophthong and diphthongs correct. So what do we mean by monophthong and diphthong? So monophthong means mono or one sound. Diphthong means two or gliding. So even a diphthong isn't really two separate sounds. It's the sound that occurs when we glide from one position to another as we're saying a vowel sound. So a basic example, we have the vowel ah, as in father or hot, ah. When I say that sound, I'm not moving, I'm just holding the ah, my tongue is in one position, versus I, as I say that diphthong sound, I'm gliding from a similar place that I'm in the ah, and lifting and relaxing the tongue. So it starts tense, ah, and it ends in e or I. It's about the glide that happens. So the typical diphthongs we have in English are I, O, oi, a, etc. And you can find out more about the basics, the standard vowels and the standard diphthongs in our vowels playlist, as well as I have a couple short videos walking you through all of those sounds, the letters, the spelling. So check those out for a good foundation for vowels. Here we're going to be talking about how these vowels change, diphthongs and monophthongs in different accents and dialects. So if we're looking at hot versus I, of course, as we're saying monophthongs, not of course, this might not be obvious, but all of the different regions of the US, all of the different places English are spoken, we have sometimes a tendency to make monophthongs into diphthongs. So if I'm saying it's hot and I'm holding it longer, I'm stressing on it. If I'm saying it's hot out, I'm likely to just use that ah vowel. If I'm saying, oh, I'm really hot, you can hear how I do drop and fall a little bit, and that's typically going from the ah, and the most typical thing is to add a little schwa after. We also sometimes make a sound as we're going into the pure vowel, the pure monophthong, hot, I'm hot. I might have a higher vowel or a different vowel. That level of detail is typically not necessary to acquire the accent. I think once you're at that advanced point of really trying to blend in with the dialect around you, you're going to be listening for vowel length and movement and gliding. And I don't want to get into that level of detail, but I do want to talk about this topic where as we're stressing on vowels, you may tend to lengthen and add a little bit of a schwa after your pure vowel. So I'm hot. That can happen for a lot of dialects of English. And then in the South in particular, they have a tendency to flip-flop. So where other parts of the US, the North, the West Coast, the Midwest, will use a diphthong for a word like I like it, I'm happy, I'm fine. That I vowel stays the diphthong. In the South, they may make that one more of a monophthong. So rather than in the North, I like it, in the South, I like it. They're using more of just the first part, just the starting position, similar to the vowel we have in ah, like hot or father. Ah, I like it. I like it. So the typical Southern accent is taking some of these diphthongs, they become more monophthongs, or they change, and then vice versa. In the South, they may take something like the oo in do, instead of having just a clear oo, I do, you do, they might add a little sound before it, you do, do. I'm not very good at doing that Southern accent. If you're listening to a native speaker from the South, of course there's a huge range and variety of different Southern accents across the U.S. I'm just trying to point out kind of a typical patterning of adding an additional sound. So don't take me as your speaker model for the South. If you're interested in trying to acquire a Southern accent, you can check out listening to actors who are from the South in TV and movies. That's a great way to get that sense. Or if you're someone who's living in a Southern place, you can be listening to native speakers around you, and that probably is already influencing how you hear and pronounce American vowel sounds. Our viewer who requested talking about this topic was noticing the phrase throw it, and I just wanted to point out that as we do linking between two vowels, between the O and the it, throw it, O, that we're going to have our natural diphthong for O, and then we as we move to the next vowel, we end up with a gliding W sound, so a semivowel in there. Throw it, throw in. That just naturally happens, and you can learn more about vowel-to-vowel linking in my video for that. Also in our online course, Sounds of English, we talk about the more basic diphthongs and monophthongs, so that's a great way to get those details. We're looking here a little bit of how these sounds change. Excuse me. All right, next I want to look at the vowel E. Again, in many dialects of English, if I'm saying we or we'll see, I'm not saying pure on that E sound, not we'll see, E, but we may add a little bit of a schwa sound again, like we'll see. We kind of tend to, as we have to stress on monophthongs, we can diphthongize them by adding schwa after or adding a vowel sound first. And then when we do something like wheel, when we add a monophthong to an L functions like a vowel as well. It's a glide or a semivowel. And for the dark L, we have the schwa before it. So wheel, we have kind of an E diphthong that happens there before that L sound, which you can also consider a vowel sound, wheel. But even though this is a diphthong or even a triphthong, we often, in fast speech, reduce wheel to more of will. So if I'm saying we'll do it and I'm stressing on it, you're gonna hear that iya very clearly. We'll do it. But in everyday speech, we'll do it. I think we'll be okay. We'll be okay. You notice that we'll comes out more with the monophthong will be okay. So that's something I talk about in detail when I'm talking about contractions, using contractions, and then how we sound in fluent speech. You can learn more about reductions, fluent speech, contractions in our linking and reduced sounds playlist, as well as in our Real Talk playlist and our Real Talk course on speechmodification.com. That one focuses on how vowels change for fluency, how we have oftentimes the diphthongs will change to monophthongs. Monophthongs will get reduced. For example, this one here, the to, in the word to, I rarely say this as a pure oo vowel. It often becomes more of a schwa. I'm going to go to do that, to talk to you. I'm going to go to the store, where our oo gets reduced. So you can learn about that in our Real Talk playlist and our Real Talk course. That is helpful for being fluent as well. So it's not, it's one monophthong to another monophthong, but it's also about a clear vowel to a reduced vowel. Lastly, I want to point out a detail from the New York accent. Of course, there's many other details and dialects here, but this is just a stereotypical one, that the ah vowel, which is a monophthong for most of us. I'm going to have some coffee. Ah, I study law. Coffee is going to become more of a diphthong in the New York accent of aw, either starting with the ah and ending with schwa, or with an o or an sound. Coffee, 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 coffee. This one is the least changed because in this context, that's a typical, adding the schwa is the more typical standard or northern Western English change. Okay, so kind of a complex topic, a little bit too much to cover in a short video, and for most of my viewers, really knowing and understanding that diphthongs glide and that monophthongs don't is the main piece that you need to know. Do check out our vowel videos to learn which vowels do which and how we spell these sounds. For those of you who are more interested in just learning a little bit about dialects and changes, this is an introductory video and an idea talking about this is where you'll hear what you hear when you listen to the distinctions and differences in different regional dialects in English. Thanks so much for watching this video. Tomorrow I'll be back with another Word of the Day video, and Saturday we'll have our live question and answer class. Do feel free to leave your questions, requests, and comments on this video or any of my videos, and I can talk about them in a future class. Thank you to the channel member who made this request and suggestion. Actually, there were a couple of channel members who wanted to know about this. I really appreciate your support as a channel member, and you can keep your questions and requests coming, and I'll prioritize those for our upcoming videos. If you're interested in learning about channel membership, you can click the join button and it'll talk about the perks that we offer for channel members. Also, if you're interested in checking out channel membership for free, do use the link in the video for allowing gifts. So I have been gifting memberships. I can't control who they go to, but YouTube will select from people who have turned on allow gifts for this channel. And you can go to our community page and learn more about how to do that if that's something you'd like to check out and be eligible for. Thanks so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in our next class. I'm Christine Dunbar from speechmodification.com. Remember, if you want to sound like a native speaker, you can do it. speechmodification.com. Bye, everyone. Hope to see you again soon.